Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to do something pretty incredible. We're synthesizing timeless ethical philosophy, historical leadership, and modern communication into a total masterclass on building an impactful legacy. And look, when we say legacy, we're not talking about vanity metrics, fleeting views, or, momentary clout. No way. We're talking about crafting a message that literally moves people, changes behavior, and actually stands the test of time. If you want your message to resonate on that deep of a level, you've absolutely got to build it on an unbreakable foundation.
So what exactly do an ancient caliph, the virtue of honesty, and modern YouTube scripts have in common? Okay, let's dive into this totally mind-blowing thematic bridge connecting 7th century history right to your daily content creation journey. I know, at first glance, comparing the rigorous life of an ancient caliph to scripting a modern explainer seems, well, kind of bizarre, right? Like, what could a ruler of a vast historical empire possibly teach us about audience retention? But trust me on this, by the end of our time together, you're going to see exactly how ethical substance, compelling narrative framing, and radical service form the ultimate timeless formula for true influence. Here is our roadmap for today. We're looking at 5 steps. 1, the anatomy of impact. 2, the core of absolute honesty. 3, the medium of engaging structure. 4, the execution through servant leadership. And finally, 5, leading by example. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the anatomy of impact, the ultimate framework. So the absolutely crucial point here is that genuine lasting impact requires 3 very distinct elements working in perfect harmony. Step 1 is substance, meaning your message has to be rooted in absolute honesty. Step 2 is structure, which is all about delivering that truth through a compelling and engaging medium. And step 3 is service. This is the physical embodiment of your message through profound servant leadership toward your audience. Think about it like a 3-legged stool. If these are out of balance, the whole thing topples over. If you've got honesty but terrible structure, well, your message is just a boring lecture no one listens to. Great structure but zero honesty? That's your classic totally clickbait viral garbage. It grabs attention, sure, but leaves everyone feeling cheated. And if you have both truth and structure but fail to actually serve your audience, your impact is completely hollow. You're literally just making noise. You absolutely need all 3 of these. Section 2, the core, absolute honesty. Now, according to an Islamic studies course over at Comsat's University, al-amana, which is the Arabic word for trustworthiness, is an absolutely essential ethical pillar. Grounding these theological teachings in an academic reality is super helpful because it shows us this isn't just some nice abstract idea, it's a highly practical, foundational framework. When a person fully embodies al-amana, they become completely confident in their words and their deeds. There's no second guessing whatsoever. And when your message or your script or your leadership is built on that kind of deeply rooted trust, your audience doesn't just hear your words, they intuitively feel the weight and the reality behind them. And this brings us to the dual nature of truthfulness, internal versus external honesty. External honesty is what brings social approval, right? It's when society, your peers, or your subscribers judge you as trustworthy because you keep your promises in public. But internal honesty, that's a whole different ballgame. It's the continuous conscience you maintain privately, judged only by yourself and your own moral compass. Basically, it's what you do when absolutely no one is watching. For a creator or a leader, this internal honesty is the secret engine driving your psychological health. It literally prevents burnout because you aren't wasting massive amounts of energy trying to maintain some fake persona. When your internal reality matches your external projection, you achieve a level of authenticity that an audience naturally, almost magnetically, gravitates toward. But on the flip side, we've got to recognize the severe pitfalls here. If your core message lacks honesty, it falls right into these destructive traps. First up, hypocrisy. This is when your inner belief totally contradicts your outward action, like a modern creator hyping up a product they secretly think is garbage, or, faking an emotional reaction just for views. Then there's deceit, which involves actively misleading behavior that fundamentally violates audience trust. Think undisclosed sponsorships or straight-up scams. And finally, bribery, which disrupts fairness. In today's digital age, that might look like buying fake subscribers or artificially inflating metrics to cheat the algorithm. If a creator or leader falls into these habits, it doesn't just ding their reputation, it fundamentally undermines community trust and completely destroys any long-term engagement. Without a foundation of truth, the whole building is going to collapse for sure. Section 3. The medium, engaging structure, packaging your message. Okay, so having established that honest core, we have to actually package the message for maximum retention. And we do this using the classic 3-act storytelling structure. Look, when you're writing a script or giving a speech, you're taking the viewer on a journey, and you must hold their attention. In Act 1, the intro, you're establishing the hook. You're basically pointing at the mountain you're going to climb together and giving them a reason to care right out of the gate. In Act 2, the conflict, you don't just hand them the answer. You develop the challenges. You guide them through the maze of pain points, making the ultimate payoff actually feel earned. And finally, in Act 3, the resolution, you open the door and provide a deeply satisfying conclusion to the narrative. This structure is what ensures your honest message isn't just true, but genuinely captivating.
Now, going beyond those broad narrative acts, employing tactical frameworks like the VET formula, that's the video engagement timeline, guarantees that your meticulously honest message is actually consumed and valued. This is exactly where modern content creation meets human psychology. Why a timeline, you ask? Because viewer attention decays second by second. Every single segment of your script, from the magnifying glass of your opening hook that hyper-focuses their attention, all the way to the precision target of your final call to action, has a specific critical job to do. I mean, think about it. If you have the cure to a massive problem, but you deliver it in a disorganized, rambling mess, the viewer is clicking away before they ever hear it. Structure is literally the vehicle that delivers the truth. And check this out. There is a fascinating parallel between a modern content creator and a historical leader. Both of these roles require a deep, almost obsessive understanding of exactly who they're talking to. A great creator doesn't just, sit down and shout into the void. They meticulously define their target audience and work relentlessly to fulfill that specific viewer's purpose. Similarly, a truly great historical leader doesn't just rule from some ivory tower. They act as a shepherd. They know the unique terrain of their flock and intimately tend to the immediate daily needs of their people. In both cases, the whole shebang relies entirely on shifting the focus away from yourself and completely onto the people you are trying to reach. Section 4. The execution. Servant leadership. This brings us to the breathtaking historical example of Caliph Omar ibn al-Khattab. During the devastating year of ashes, a horrific famine swept through the region, bringing just unimaginable starvation. The story goes that Caliph Omar was sitting in his home, his own stomach growling loudly from hunger. He looked down and made this visceral declaration to his own rumbling stomach. He said, "Rumble or don't rumble, you will not be full until the children of the Muslims are able to eat." He absolutely refused to be full while his people starved. Wow. And this wasn't just some political rhetoric or an empty TR stunt either. He genuinely believed he couldn't be a proper shepherd if he wasn't directly touched by the exact same brutal deprivations as his people. So he swore off yogurt, milk, butter, and meat. When wealthy individuals brought him fine food, he immediately gave it away to charity. His physical appearance even changed. His skin darkened and he became incredibly thin. He literally lived the pain of his audience. Think about how this applies to us today. When you create a message or a product, do you intimately understand and share the pain points of the people you're trying to reach? Or are you completely detached from their reality? This right here is the ultimate test of internal honesty. Doing the grueling work when there are absolutely no cameras, no metrics, and no social approval to be gained. For years, the most powerful man in the world at that time secretly walked the dark outskirts of Medina at night. He routinely visited the home of an elderly, blind woman simply to cook her meals and sweep her floors. And get this, he never announced his lofty title. She had no idea she was being served by the Caliph himself. This astonishing anecdote proves that true service isn't a performance. It is a quiet, relentless dedication to the well-being of others. Section 5. Leading by example. Actions over words. Just contrast a modern content creator complaining about, slow video rendering times with Caliph Omar's literal, exhausting action. One night, while on patrol, he heard the cries of a stranger's wife in labor inside a makeshift tent. He didn't just walk away or send an assistant. Nope. He ran home, fetched his own wife, Kulthum. He gathered his own heavy sacks of flour and fat. He went back, physically built a fire, blew on the flames until smoke filled his beard, and cooked a hot meal while his wife helped deliver a traveler's baby in the dead of night. Now that is what it means to execute your values at the highest possible level. It's getting your hands dirty. But his leadership wasn't just a series of isolated, heartwarming microactions. He used these intimate, grounded interactions with his audience to drive sweeping systemic policy changes for the entire empire. During another one of his night patrols, he tapped a blind man begging on the shoulder. It turned out to be an elderly Jewish man. As a non-Muslim citizen, he was subject to the jizya, a tax paid in exchange for state protection and exemption from military service. But this man had grown way too old to work and was reduced to begging just to pay it. Omar looked at the elderly man and realized a profound systemic injustice was taking place. He told him, "We took the jizya from you when you were young, and then we lost you when you were old." And he didn't just offer an empty apology. He brought the man to his own home, fed him, and immediately sent word to the state treasury. He completely exempted the elderly from the tax and established regular stipends for them straight from the public funds. Do you see what he did there? He took a localized pain point he discovered by being on the ground, and he solved it on a macro level. He adapted the whole system to deeply serve his community's needs. So, to synthesize everything we've explored today, this is your ultimate blueprint for influence. It relies on a distinct triad. First, the heart. You absolutely must cultivate a truthfully honest core, balancing internal integrity with external trustworthiness. Second, the blocks. You've got to package that truth using compelling, structured storytelling frameworks like the 3-act structure and the VET formula, so it actually reaches people. And third, the seed. You must plant that message through an unwavering, active commitment to servant leadership. Whether you are leading a vast nation or just scripting a 10-minute explainer, if you combined deep ethical substance with engaging structure and an intense desire to serve your flock, your impact is going to be completely undeniable. So, as we hit the end of our roadmap, I want to leave you with one defining question. You've got the structural tools to write the script. You know the vital importance of inner and outer truth. Now, take this historical blueprint into your daily life and ask yourself, how are you going to execute your message to truly impact and serve your own community? You have the script, you know the truth, so how will you serve your flock? Think about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.